So, one of the best ways to make money as an electric guitar player, in my opinion, is still one of the oldest ways. Since the beginning of the electric guitar, artists and producers have been paying guitar players to record on their songs. Your favorite guitar player's favorite guitar player is probably a session guitarist. And these days, because of the internet, you can do it in ways that wouldn't have been possible even 20 years ago. Today, I'm talking about remote session work. My name's Richie, and today we're going to talk about what it takes and how you can get started recording freelance guitar. So I've been a guitar player since I was 11 years old. I've been in a lot of different bands and I've recorded a lot of different music over the years. I've been in and out of the studio for different projects basically since I was a teenager. And even though I love playing live music, the studio has always been my strong suit. And in all that time that I spent recording, without realizing it, I was inadvertently getting good at something I had no idea I could monetize until years later. Like a lot of other musicians, I would have loved to have been able to make a full-time living doing music. When I was a teenager, I wanted to be in a band and make money selling albums. But ask any indie artist and they'll tell you how difficult it is to make a living that way. By the time I hit my mid-20s, I knew that I wasn't cut out for the grind of touring, and I wanted to start a family. So fast forward to now, I'm in my 30s, I'm married, I have children, and I work a normal 9-to-5 job. But my love for music never went away, and I've been recording music this entire time. But a few years ago, I started looking for ways that I could make extra income on the side using my guitar and my recording skills. I already owned a couple of mics and a copy of Logic Pro. Now I just needed to find clients who needed guitar players on their songs. Now, one thing that I want to call out here is that if you don't live in a city like Nashville or LA, it's a lot tougher to find in-person session work. A lot of the guys who do this full-time live in one of those cities, and they answer calls from producers and go physically to the studio to record tracks. But if you're like me and you don't live in Nashville, then your options might be a little bit limited, and this is where the internet becomes key. What I ended up discovering were websites like Airgigs and SoundBetter, which are online hubs where artists and producers can hire freelance musicians to play on their songs. You make a profile, post your services, set your rates, and then clients can find you and book you to play on their songs. For me, it started small and slow. In the beginning, I made my rates really affordable just to build up credits and reviews on my profile and get used to the cadence of working with clients. And once I started feeling like I was producing tracks at a professional enough level, I raised my rates to what I felt like my work was worth. And after a while, I started to get repeat clients, and this started to become a steady source of income for me on the side. So if this sounds like something you'd like to try and dip your toes into, here are 3 tips that I would give you. Number 1, find your niche. Guitar is probably the most popular instrument in the world, or at least it feels that way to me, so you can imagine that these sites are pretty saturated with guitar players. If you create a profile and post generic guitar player services, then finding you is going to be like finding a needle in a haystack for clients. You need to specialize. You need to identify what it is that you are good at on guitar and target those clients specifically. So if you excel at flamenco style acoustic guitar, you should make that your thing and gear your profile towards that. Or if you're really good at recording tight, thick, double-tracked rhythm guitars, you should go all in on that. Don't be a jack of all trades. For me, I discovered early on that what I do best and never seem to get tired of is tele-driven country guitar like Pete Anderson or Brent Mason or Brad Paisley. I can play other genres, and I love to play other genres. I can play metal. I've even tracked guitars on an entire math rock album. But when the red light comes on, where I find myself most at home and most efficient is Americana and country styles of guitar playing. So that's the kind of clientele that I tend to service. You need to identify what you are good at and go after those clients. Number 2, self-produce. One of the things that's unique about remote session work, especially on Airgigs and SoundBetter, is that the clientele that you're going to be working with is mostly indie artists. Most of these gigs aren't going to be for major label artists and their producers. In fact, more often than not, you'll be interacting directly with the artist and there won't be a producer involved at all. So you have to produce yourself. You have to be able to identify what it is that the artist is going for and then come up with parts that complement their song. Typically, when you get booked on one of these sites, you're given a rough demo and maybe some notes from the artist, but often there's not a chord chart, so you have to be able to listen to the demo and be able to learn it by ear and come up with parts. And more often than not, that means restraint. You need to exercise restraint and humility when you contribute parts to songs. It's not really the time to show off your chops. Even these clips I'm playing for you in this video are instances where the artist specifically asked for me to let it rip. So unless the artist asks for you to lay down a ripping guitar solo, and sometimes they do, don't get me wrong, but unless they ask for that, the best thing you can give them are clean tracks that are played in time and serve the song. Which brings me to the last tip. Number 3, do good work. If you're new to recording, and especially recording yourself at home, you may want to stop here and go spend some time getting good at that and then come back. YouTube is a great resource for this. If you're watching this and thinking, man, I don't know if I'm quite ready to deliver pro level tracks, that's okay. Go spend some time getting good at it and then come on back to this video when you're ready. It goes without saying, but if you're going to charge people money to play on their songs, you should be delivering professional level tracks. That means playing in time without excessive noise and with good tone, or at least tone that's appropriate for the song. A lot of this comes down to good communication. If you communicate well with the client up front, it's going to prevent all sorts of issues down the road, and you're going to understand better what it is that they're going for. Ask them questions. Hey, do you want a clean guitar sound, or should I throw some dirt on? Do you want this part to have delay, or should I leave it dry? That sort of thing. Ask them for reference songs. What artists do they like? What songs do they like the sound of the guitar on and want their song to sound like? Good communication is half the battle here, and if you communicate well with your client and understand what they're going for, you're more likely to knock it out of the park for them. And the last thing I'll say is that you don't need to be a virtuoso player. You just need to have a good ear for parts and be able to deliver good, clean tracks that a mix engineer can work with down the line. So that's pretty much the lowdown on remote session work. If this sounds like something that would be up your alley, I would definitely encourage you to make a profile on SoundBetter or Airgigs. And if you have any questions about any of this, please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. I try to respond to as many comments as I can. If you like this video, click the like button. And if you're not subscribed, I'd love to have you join this community. Thanks for watching The Back Pickup, and until next time, keep on picking.